Nick's in Warrington, so also in Tier 3 at the moment. Nick, what would you like to say?
James, how you doing?
Well, I'm all right. How are you doing?
Well, to be honest, I'm confused.
No kidding.
I'm quite confused. I've been confused for a while now, I suppose, as most people have.
Yeah.
But, yesterday I found out that the postcode area that I belong to is designated as one tier, and the local council borough that I also live in actually belongs to another one.
Seriously?
Yeah, so
that could make sense, because there has to be. I mean, are you literally crossing a road and moving from one tier to the other? Because there will always be that apparently anomalous reality. But whatever it may be, whether it's council tax, you could be paying more or less than your neighbour somewhere in the country. The line will go through someone's garden, practically, won't it?
No, I appreciate that, but I think the issue is that I'm in I'm fairly close to a county border, so I accept that may have something to do with that. But the fact is that depending on which criteria I want to search by, whether I'm looking at the postcode or the local council, I could be following two different bits of advice. So not only at the moment am I fairly confused as to what the actual advice is, I don't know exactly which of the two that I'm supposed to follow. It. To be honest, it makes me think, as I suppose it probably does many people, that what makes me wonder what government action is going to come at any point that doesn't lead to more confusion and more.
Well, the only thing that doesn't lead to more confusion of the kind you describe is nationwide, where everybody's pulling in the same direction, everybody's following the same rules. But you've got more Tory backbenchers lining up to complain about that because they've got a massive problem with economic damage designed to keep people alive, but they're perfectly happy with economic damage designed to deliver their unicorn-based Brexit. I'm getting quite cross about that the more I mention it, actually. Just to warn just to warn everybody. I can feel the old the old dander rising on that one. But that's the answer to your question. The only thing that the least confusing strategy is the one that's nationwide.
Yeah, well, I agree. And I think the problem is now is that any strategy that isn't, any position that they take that is not that hard line is now basically ineffective because of the situation that we're already in. So you can't now look at strategies that that might have seemed sensible at some point had we not already got into this mess. But
and equally, if you were living in Land's End and there hadn't been a case for 3 months and John O'Groats had 50 cases in the last 24 hours and you were expected to follow exactly the same strategies, we'd be having a different conversation, wouldn't we? So not to sympathise with the government, but just to point out that we can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. I'm just looking at the map, Nick. Which has never been a great strong point of mine. But Warrington is right on the border of Cheshire and the Liverpool City Region, isn't it? So, I mean, I think we can make sense of that. Go on.
Sorry, I'm calling from Warrington, but I actually live a little bit further south than that. So to be fair, we are kind of between.
If you move south from there is a capital C of the Liverpool City Region, isn't there? There's a sort of there's like a biting mouth that you live near the bottom of, I presume. So you're going to be on the border of the Liverpool City Region and Cheshire West. Am I right?
A little bit further than that, even.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
The point is, it's not easy to make sense of, but it's not impossible either. The point is, of course, that the confusion increases with every attempt to do so. Nick, thank you. You've made me a little late for the news, but I shall bear full responsibility for that.